My name is Lynn Coleman. I am the Director of Member Engagement and Compliance with Bridge AOR. And here we have Felicia Mares, our 2023 President-elect for Bridge Association of Realtors, as well as a fabulous audio realtor here in the Bay. Welcome, Felicia. Woo!
Thank you.
So we're going to dive right in and go ahead and tell us who you are, Felicia. How long you been in the business?
Sure. So I was licensed in 2017. And as you mentioned, I'm a realtor with Abio Properties, a boutique brokerage here in the Bay Area. I do serve in many different roles. I am the current president-elect, which means I will be president next year for Bridge. I've served on several committees with our local association on the state level and nationally. So that's been really fun to be able to travel a little bit for real estate stuff. And then my newest role is I am a new wife. So I am a newlywed.
Congratulations.
So probably the biggest role of my life thus far. So yeah, serving many roles and hopefully doing a good job at it.
Yes, I'm sure you are. You've been practicing for a little bit. So as someone who is involved in so many different things, like how do you make sure you're not taking on too much at one time?
It's hard. And I will say, like, a disclaimer to everybody watching, I am not perfect by any means. I do not always have my shit together. Some days are more chaotic than others. But I've learned over the years, like when first getting started and like kind of my personality, I'm very like fly by the seat of my pants, like just figure it out as you go. I'm very adaptable. But that doesn't always like help with like organization and staying focused and prioritizing. So in the beginning, when you're first starting out in real estate, you're very like just happy to work and picking up anything and just all over the place. And you can kind of be unorganized because you don't have that much business going on. But then as you start building and growing your business and it's hopefully flourishing, it's going to get harder and harder to be able to do all of those daily tasks and continue growing your business, right? And hopefully the goal is to year after year grow, get more clients, help more people. And the only way that you can really do that is by getting down your systems, leveraging different folks in the industry, getting help, having people take over for you tasks that aren't really worth your time and aren't going to be helping you with that building, right? Kind of the things behind the scenes. My assistant might be on here right now watching. Hi, Jenica, if you're here. She helps me behind the scenes so that I can stay focused on the tasks that are really going to bring us more business. I also have a transaction coordinator. I know when you're first getting started, it might be helpful for you to do all of the contracts yourself, the organization, all of the storing the documents that we need to store. But when you can and you're able to kind of off leash that onto somebody else who actually does a way better job at it than you probably do, so that you can focus on connecting with your clients, building relationships, and doing the things that are really going to further your business. I know it's kind of hard to relinquish that control over a lot of the tasks that we do, but we as business owners do not need to be doing every single task. So really leaning on the folks that help and support your business, that is key.
Yes, I heard a couple of Janine-isms, getting your system together, developing your we just had the Art of the Start earlier this morning, and that was one thing she said, get you a system and stick to it.
Yes,
so,
and it takes time, right? Because you want to try
right.
out different systems. Like I know a lot of us try out a few different CRMs before we figure out what really works for us. So it takes time, and it's always one of the beautiful things about this industry is that it is always changing and growing, and so are you as a person and as a business owner. So it's fun to kind of try on new things and test it out and see what works for you.
Exactly. So that kind of like goes into my next question. You're your own boss as a realtor for the most part. So it's kind of easy to be like, oh, I work tomorrow, or I won't work today. How do you take the time? What's your reset button? Like, how do you say, do you set I'm only going to work Monday, Wednesday, Friday? Or do you just kind of, like you said, fly by the seat of your pants? Do you have a schedule that you set, and do you stick to it as far as I'm working right now, and then this time is my personal time? And do you blur those, or are you very strict on separating the two?
So I am not super, super strict on my schedule because I do feel like there are a lot of things that we do in our personal life that ultimately leads to business. And so the personal and the business kind of do blend really seamlessly and beautifully together, especially when you're building your business based on relationships, right? Not on, you know, I don't do any of the sort of like cold calling or, you know, online ads or anything like that. A lot of my business is based purely on the relationships that I have with a lot of the people in this live and that I've connected with online. So I think that it's easy to sort of have fun hangouts that ultimately end up leading to business. And so those lines are sort of blurred. When it comes to working hours, I work pretty much every single day. I do take time off if I have. So I think the big thing is prioritizing, right? So I don't do time blocking where I'm like, okay, from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m., I'm focusing only on this one task. So time blocking, I've tried it in the past. It's very difficult for me. If it works for you, I highly recommend trying it. But Janine says in the chat, start with a digital calendar. Yes, absolutely. And I would recommend calendaring out the things that you prioritize the most. So for me, family vacations, spending time with my partner, syncing up with, you know, family events, my husband, syncing up all of our, thanks, Lynn, syncing up all of our like events and all of that stuff comes first, right? So that way I can build my work around the other priorities in my life. So once you get really, really clear about what your priorities are and what's really important to you, and for me, the way that I figure out my priorities is like based on happiness, not necessarily what's going to bring me the most amount of money or the most amount of clients. So I
love that.
be fulfilled and I want to be happy. Those are my goals. Like I just want to be happy. And the way that I do that is by keeping some balance, right? If I'm only focused on the amount of houses that I'm going to sell, I'm going to get overwhelmed really, really quickly. So, you know, prioritizing those things in my life that bring me a lot of joy. And a lot of that is like hanging out with my clients or connecting with clients or business related activities. But the family stuff comes first, right? Family comes first. My health, my prioritizing myself comes first. And then the business stuff can kind of fill into my calendar after that. Right now without kids, it's a little easier, right? To just like, oh, I'm going to work crazy hours because I can, and I don't have that much else going on. Right. Like, so sure, I'll take showings on a weekend or an evening or whatever. But I already have it in my mindset of when we do eventually get to that point where we're having kids, I'm going to have to cut that back a lot and prioritize working business hours. You know, it's okay to have somebody else run your open houses. It's okay to have an open house outside of regular open house times. And that's the beauty of our industry is we can really craft it around our lives and the way that we want to live it.
Awesome. Awesome. So that goes into, you mentioned like your family and the things that make you happy. So what's your true reset button? Like, what is it when you're like, I'm sick of everything. I just want to do this and clear my head. What is your reset?
I wish that I could say it was working out because that would be awesome. But
would
it's
be
not.
awesome if that was mine. Oh, let me just go to the gym and get my mind clear.
A lot of top producing realtors are very good at physical fitness, and it is a way that you can kind of like, you know, shut off the other stuff, focus on, I hate it. I still do it. I work out maybe once or twice a week. And for me, that's good enough. And that does actually help a lot because I'm only focused on my body because I'm pretty much just complaining the whole time I'm working out. So there's no space for business when I'm working out. Right. But in terms of shutting things off, like travel is really big for me. I do work a little bit while I travel, which you know, I have folks here. I think partnering up with an agent locally is really important. Have somebody at your brokerage that can take over for you if you do need to step away, if you need a mental health break, if you need, you know, to take some time to travel, to spend time doing the things that you love, make sure that your business is still functioning and working, right? That's why I have assistants. That's why I have awesome agents at my brokerage who can step in for me and that I trust. So I would say traveling, not really working out, but I still do it anyways. And then what's been really helpful this year has been focusing on the real estate investment that me and my husband purchased and kind of focusing on revamping that and renovating it. And it's still something that is eventually going to bring us money, but it is something that I can focus on that makes me happy outside of industry stuff.
Okay. So speaking of revamping and building out, DIY. We all see it. I see
Yes.
she got the little hammer tattoos. This girl be making stuff. It's so cute because I see like Dominic is cooking and you're outside with like with tools and hammers. I'm like, it's the cutest thing. How did you get into that?
So yeah, we definitely joke around that like in our household, the gender roles are completely switched. He does like the cooking and the cleaning and I do the fixing in the building. And we love it that way. And yeah, we fulfill each other's needs in that way. But I got started in DIY honestly through my father. So he passed unfortunately a few years ago, but I remember when he had cancer and when he was pretty sick, I had like put up these shelves in my room and I called him and like sent him a photo of it. And I called him on the phone and he's like, Mija, that looks so good. I'm so proud of you. It looks beautiful. Like you hung it the right way. He like asked me what anchors I used. And like, he was always in construction. And so growing up as a little girl, like that's why I have the hammer tattoo. It's a memorial piece for my father. He always had like a hammer on his belt. We had buckets of tools in our living room at all times because he was in construction. So I grew up around seeing him work on things, not necessarily on our house because we didn't own property as a child when I was a kid, but just seeing him come home and working really hard to support our family financially, it was impressive to me. And then as he got sick and once he passed, then that's really when I started getting interested in it as kind of a way to, I don't know, out of respect to him, out of like, you know, in his memory sort of thing. And then it is a really good way for me to kind of shut off. And it's hard work, it's tough, and it is physical, and it also is mental. And so when you're thinking about like different measurements and how to fit pieces together and how you're going to solve this problem, it helps from taking away all of the business related stress and thoughts, right?
Yeah. So that's also sounds like a reset button for you too.
Totally.
banging some nails. Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the best or your favorite piece that you've built?
That's a good question. I would probably have to say the first thing that I built, I mean, like legit thing that I built is a stand for my saw, and I put it on wheels. And it's now that I look at it and I'm using it a lot, it's not very level. And if I did it now, it would probably be way straighter. But I'm so proud of that piece because it was the first thing that I made that was like super functional. And it is the starter piece that helped me with all of the future projects.
Nice. Yeah, I remember you were making something and it was like something that didn't fit in it. And you really were, you kept posting, you're like, dang, it didn't fit. And then you like did something and you're like, it works. And I was like, I want to see the whole thing. I always tease you about like you and Carmen are both like, oh, sorry, a feedback. I didn't realize. Sorry, I'm cutting you off.
No, go ahead.
But I always tease you and Carmen about like being short and little. And so when I see you doing these things, I'm just like, I'm so amazed by it.
Or your muscles.
Yes. And that has honestly been something that has encouraged me to continue working out because I do want to get stronger, right? Because it does help with my hobby of like tinkering and building things. So yes, it is a great way to shut your brain off and focus on something else and to make something that you could be proud of. And then every time you see it, you're like, I built that. I did that.
Yeah. So have you ever used any of your pieces like in your staging, or have you ever sold anything? Like have you incorporated any DIY projects in your realtor business?
So I haven't actually, okay, so two things about that. One, it is sort of incorporated in my business because I share these things on Instagram. Then it tells my friends online that, you know, I know how to do some stuff. And so I feel like it has helped me with my business because I have a lot of past clients that follow me on Instagram, and it's a way to connect with them. And like, I would love for them to like chat with me about these things. And then, you know, two, I don't actually like do any of the work in my listings myself. We have contractors for that because we want it to be professionally done. And I'm just a DIYer, not a professional. I have, however, done some painting. Like I painted a mailbox for a client once because I was like, it would just look way better in black. Like I'm just going to come over and paint it real quick right before we go on the market. Because those little touches are just going to make a big difference. So I'll do small things like painting some small stuff or like planting certain plants, leaf blowing, power washing, like that kind of stuff I'll do. But in terms of like actual building, I don't think I want the liability.
Right. Okay, so tell us, what else do you have next? What's coming up? You know, we know you're about to be the president. Do you have any big projects or events coming up or anything you want to share?
Yes. So I am super excited to become the president of Bridge. I want to give a shout out to our current president, Janine, because she's been super helpful with
I
just
love
mentor.
martinis.
Yes, I love martinis in the chat. She has just been super helpful with kind of doing a warm handoff. So I'm excited for that. We will be having our the installation on December 10th. That is when I will be officially installed as the president. So I would love any friends, family, realtors, Bridge members to come to that. That's going to be December 10th, and you can find the tickets on our website. I'll be adding a link on my Instagram shortly, soon, probably within the next week. And then we are having our, so YPN is having our masquerade next Thursday. So we're getting together at Bardo for drinks,
Yes.
appetizers. Lynn has been quintessential for putting this event together. So thank you so much for your help. And we're going to be wearing cute little masks, and it's just going to be very swanky. So we still have a few tickets for that. That's going to be next Thursday at 6. And I believe Wells Fargo is the sponsor for that. So shout out to Wells. And
Yes.
then we also have this year, Janine, and we've been working on doing RAW, which is Realtor and Affiliate Wellness. And so we are going to be meeting every fourth Friday of the month at Bridge. And it is an open space for us to come and share our feelings, our thoughts, our stresses, our anxieties. If you're struggling with depression, if you're struggling with I don't know, staying focused in the business, with alcoholism, with anything that you're going through, we're here for you. And so we're not here to provide you any advice, any therapy, or anything like that. It's just an open forum for us to share our thoughts with each other. So please join us for Raw. And that is going to be the fourth Friday of every month at Bridge.
Yes, yes. So I did have one more question that Carmen reminded me of. As a realtor, you have you use this particular Instagram the most. And I know it's like you have personal and you have your business on this one Instagram. How do you handle transparency moments? Like as far as like what to share? I've seen, especially during your wedding planning, I've seen you be very vulnerable on Instagram. And how do you pick and choose, or how do you take those moments and say, this is something I want to share that I think it's relatable? How do you pick and choose those transparency moments where you
That's a
become very vulnerable?
That's a really great question. And I think, vulnerability is absolutely beautiful. And I think we need to have more of that in our world so that people can see the real us and people can understand that we're all real people and that we all have feelings. And the internet can be a tough place to be, especially if you're dealing with anxiety. So, what I've come to learn is that by sharing my truth and being very honest and vulnerable online, it's getting the folks that I'm connected with here to trust me more, to know me more, to care about me, honestly. Like I see people in person and they're like, oh my gosh, you did this. Like, let's talk about it, right? Because they saw it online. Or, hey, I heard you were feeling this way because I saw it posted or whatever. How are you? Like, there's more community that we could be building here online. And I feel like that is sort of a missing piece to a lot of people's strategies when it comes to real estate and business on Instagram. And so, it's been great for me to really connect with my past clients, my future clients. And there is a balance to it because I've learned the hard way that like when we're posting on here, like, oh my gosh, I'm so busy, I'm running around all crazy, and like, I'm so busy, I have all of these things going on, then our folks are watching that. And I have had people tell me like, I'm sorry I didn't call you when it was time to buy or sell. Like, you just seem so busy. You seem too busy for me, right? Or people think like, oh, I can't afford some of the homes that you post, so like you must only work with that, which isn't true, right? We work with all different types of price points. And I'm not too busy, right? I'm not too busy for like I'm literally here to get business, right? And then by posting too much or being too busy or like seeming like you're not available, then you become unapproachable. So the whole goal here with the vulnerability and being very honest is to become very approachable so that people feel comfortable opening up to you, because you're just easier to open up to when you're a realistic, honest person.
Exactly. I like that. Carmen, do we have any other questions, or did you see anything?
No, it just, it, so it's really on point to what Felicia says. So lately I've been on Instagram more, following like stories more so than just my feed. And so I've been seeing a lot of Felicia's posts, and I'm interested because there's DIY in your houses, but then I'm finding more interest in just the personal things that you share. And the reason why I laugh is because it's called 911. And then, can you hear me okay?
It's kind of cutting in and out, but we can we got it.
Yeah, my internet's bad. Let me hold it this way. Can you hear me better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Can you hear me? It's still cutting out?
Yes. We got you. We hear you. Oh, she probably is going to say something.
Oh, dang.
Oh, man. But yeah,
can you hear me better now?
just to piggyback. Yeah, go ahead.
Can you hear me now? Okay. So I usually just follow my Instagram feed and not really my stories that much. But lately I've been looking at my stories. And so then I'm seeing you, Felicia, come up on my stories a lot. And I'm like, oh, cool. Her DIYs are great. Her homes are great. All that. But then you also do, the personal side. And so I was laughing last night and I was messaging you because like you accidentally called 911 and you shared that. I was like, oh my God, that was something I would do. And then you're like, how did I not know Love is Blind season 3 was on? And then I was like, Love is Blind season 3?
I did the same thing. I was like, when did season 3 come?
So because of you, I didn't go to bed until like 1. And 7:30, I'm like, is it too late? Is it too early to go to bed?
I'm sorry I kept you up because you had to watch Love is Blind, but it is so good. It was worth it. It was worth losing the sleep over.
I watched all of them last night.
Don't talk about it. I haven't watched it yet.
Okay, watch it.
Here's the thing with that is that, like, I find that I get more, obviously, people are going to want to talk more about things like that than they are about, like, look at this beautiful house I sold, right? Like, when I post homes, I get, like, a few DMs maybe, but when I'm talking about something, like, that we all kind of, like, it's a universal thing, then there's going to be more traction there. And then a question that I get asked a lot is like, do you separate business from personal in terms of being online? And for me, I don't believe in running a separate account for my business because my business is so personal. If you're working with me, you're hiring me for me. And so I can't disconnect those two things, right? Having a separate business. Also, that's not very good for balance because then you're running 2 accounts. And as Carmen was kind of mentioning earlier, it's kind of a lot when you got like a lot of accounts going on. Like, I don't have the energy or the capacity for that. So I'm happy just to run this one account and to put everything on there. And if like there's folks who don't like that I'm, talking about all of these random things, then maybe I'm just not for them, and that's totally okay.
Well, here's a transparency moment for me. The reason why I had to have Carmen come on this is because I realized I was in the wrong account when I started this thing. So it's a thing that happens. I have like 5 Instagram accounts on my phone. So I was like, oh my God, this says my name at the top. I'm in the wrong profile. So that's why I had to bring Carmen.
That is so funny. I didn't even realize what was going on. Okay.
No, I was trying to play it off like, oh, let me just have her come on and hang out with us. No, I screwed up, guys. We're going to be transparent. We're human.
I made my bed today. So I'm in my bedroom, my office bedroom / and I was like, oh, thank God I made my bed today.
Yeah, so it definitely makes sense, like, to run your business from your one. I mean, obviously you want to make sure you're mindful of what you're posting because it can affect you, but it is too much. You have enough going on to whether to click in and out of all these different profiles. And I'll tell you, someone's been doing it for the past few months. And then Carmen's like mentioning LinkedIn. Oh, I'm like, oh wait, I got to do that one too. Like, it's too much. So
yeah, see, that's why I don't post
much
like on TikTok or LinkedIn or any like Facebook. I don't do any of the other. I'm like, let me just focus on one platform and try to do that well. Because if I spread myself out, I'm just going to become completely overwhelmed. And that goes back to our conversation on balance, right? You got to prioritize. You can't do every form of lead generation and do it well. If you just pick 1 or 2 or 3 methods that you're going to be finding clients and growing your business, just get really good at those and drown out all the noise of the other ones.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that. Well,
Yeah,
thank you, Felicia. You have
Thank
been
you,
great.
ladies.
We always have a good kiki time.
I love hanging out with you guys.
Yes, I look forward. Next week is going to be a ball. I can't wait. Got our masks all together. If you guys don't have your mask, we'll have some for you.
I tried buying a costume online, and Liz
nope, I
said I
told her she
couldn't wear
couldn't
it.
Nope.
It was like this big masquerade gown
Nope.
with the train, and she's like, "No, we just wear regular clothes." I'm like,
No, don't do that. No.
Actually, no, do it. It'll be funny.
it was like
No,
Halloween.
I told her she can't walk in with me if that's what she's wearing.
But I don't see any questions in the chat unless anyone has any questions.
Yeah, I think we are going to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Give you guys the rest of your lunchtime. Thank you so much, Felicia.
Thank you, ladies.
Good luck
Thanks, everybody,
with
for
everything.
joining.
I can't wait to see what you do with 2023, Miss President.
It'll be a big year for sure.
Thank you, Carmen, for jumping in and saving the moment.
Yeah, no problem. It's always fun talking to you.
All right, well, enjoy the rest of your Friday.
Bye.
Be safe, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.